Rabbit. Good morning, neighbors. It is Friday, the first day of November. 54 days to Christmas. We're in that home stretch now. So, good morning to you. Thank you so much for joining us on the Power Breakfast Show on Power 102 Digital. Yep, it is Friday. Gotta love a Friday. All right. So, thank you so much for joining us. I cannot lean forward too much. I ate like a oink oink. I did indeed. So good morning to you all. Thank you so much. Of course, on the show, we've got Wendell Stephen this morning, and we've got Richard Ragoobarsingh. We got Ruben and Shane in the mix. Of course, my name is Steve Khan. All right. Of course, let's give you the WTs, see what's happening there. I tell you, it is 25 degrees at Crown Point in Tobago, 24 at Piarco International Airport. Let's see if the Met Office updated their weather for today. Let's check it out. I'm opening it up now. And it is saying, well, nope, not updated as yet. But yesterday they said today is going to be mostly fair conditions, will be interrupted by partly cloudy spells with showers in varying intensity, mainly after midday. All right. So that's your weather. As soon as I get it, I'll let you know. AV will let you know. How was your Diwali? Did you eat like a oink oink? Did you line up for roti? Of course, there's this roti place. I can't remember the name of the street. I think it's Passad. It's right by the Pet Butler on Elscore Road. Boy, that was some serious traffic Wednesday, serious traffic yesterday. People line up at various roti shops throughout the country to get that skin. Hope you guys had a great one. I ate like a pig, I tell you. You name it, I ate it. All right, let's use Sunday's hellos first thing this morning. We got Maria Celia. Good morning to you. Slick Money Grip. Garth Celia out in Valencia. Oliver Man Warren. Let's see, Wendy and James, Anthony Tinto in Canada, Ontario, Canada, Wayne Bennett, Covington, Georgia, Gloria Gray, Brent Hackshaw, Ewart Rajpal, Doreen Pierre, Carol Gavara, yep, Rabbit. Ben J. Singh, good morning to you. Let's see, Bisnath Prasad, Alistair Hart, Ian Lee, good morning to you, my friend. Where in the world are you? Are you in London or West Trinidad? Empress Lal. God, every time I hear that name, I go back to think about my precious Empress. It's going to be 4 years come December 15th. 4 years. Still haven't had it hard to get another dog, but I do have cats. Let's see. Michael Gradison, good morning. Wayne Lala. David Wares, and of course, Mrs. Wares, good morning to you. Special good morning to you, Mrs. Wares. Hope all is well. On WhatsApp, let's see. I've got Dan Raj. Good morning to you. I've got, let's see, Locked On in Boston, but you didn't give me a name in Boston. I have Trevor in Arima. I have Kenwin celebrating his birthday today. So happy birthday to you, Kenwin. Have a great day. Cake and ice cream on the Power Breakfast Show. Remember that. David Nelson, GNC Auto Security. Good morning to you. And all that is on WhatsApp. All right. Quickly, let's see what's happening on the highways and the byways. I got a couple of incidents for you. It is a lot quieter this morning. Still busy, but a lot quieter. I have one northbound on the Solomon Hochoy Highway by Chase Village. Don't know how serious that is. And there was an earlier one by the Trinity lights around that vicinity. I think that's cleared up. Yeah, I'm not seeing it anymore, so hopefully that's all clear. Take your time on the roads. Of course, there were a few accidents I saw yesterday. One on the Uriah Butler, and one on Arapita Avenue. Of course, somebody broke the light. And I'm seeing a lot of people, more and more people are breaking traffic lights. They're driving slower. They're driving as slow as can be. But give them a red light and they know where that accelerator is. They do. They know where that accelerator is. So please take your time. All right. Let's see. Good morning to Captain Ron in Orlando and Anthony in Toronto. Good morning to you. Ian Lee is in West Trinidad. Okay, Ian Lee. I thought you're traveling the globe as usual. Long time. I haven't seen you since you left school. Probably, I think. My brain old. I can't remember. Yeah. Anyway. And that's it. Of course, Paul is off. He's somewhere on the globe, somewhere. In the last place was LA. All right. So I don't know where he's going to, but have a good trip, Paul. All the best to you. All right. Until Wendell joins us, I'll take a couple of your calls. Got lots to talk about. I saw let me just pull it up here before I say anything. Yes. A domestic issue. Let me see if I can find it here. Yeah. I'm wondering about this one. I hope all is okay. A kidnapping in St. Helena, where an ex-husband, well, 21-year-old Anissa Guerra and her 1-year-old baby. It happened on yesterday morning, from a domestic dispute. All right. And of course, he took her against her will. Apparently, she left the home. And she went to a relative's home in Caroni, where the ex-husband was able to locate her, and he grabbed her against her will. Of course, the Quinnipiac police station is probing the incident along with the Caroni police. All right. Wendell is online. So good morning to Wendell Stephen.
Hi, morning, Steve. Morning, Paul. Morning, Richard. Morning, Trinidad and Tobago. Are you hearing me?
Yeah, I'm hearing you.
Okay. Because I'm trying out these AirPods for the first time to do the radio. So,
Oh, okay.
so
All right.
I'm never sure how I sound or what happens when I use them. I have not used them before, actually.
Boy, it sounds like you're in the airport. It looks like you're in the airport as well.
I am actually trying. I'm trying to get a flight.
You're trying to get a flight, or you got a flight?
No, you know when you fly in certain conditions, you don't. I think I would have explained this before, but my daughter works with an international airline, so sometimes I have no choice but to do standby. I don't like doing it, but
So you're not confirmed as yet?
No.
Well, that's so you'll get on, man. Have no fear.
Yeah.
You want me to make a call? I can make a call, you know.
I wish.
I can make a call.
I wish.
Yeah.
Doc
Wendell trying to go to Jamaica this morning. Is Jamaica going? I don't even know. I figure.
Yeah, it is Jamaica.
Yeah, man. He'll bring back some jerk chicken. Let me tell you what chicken in Jamaica tastes.
I think Trinidad has better jerk chicken than Jamaica, actually, because I've had both.
I usually buy when I want jerk. They know me so well. I usually go up to Lady Young Lookout.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I usually go, and I've been seeing it for years.
Some of them for a while.
Oh yeah. They know me well. If I want, rice is finished early, so I call early to say save me some rice, and she saved me rice. I didn't have to say my name or nothing. She know exactly who she talks to. So
there was a guy in St. James, but he's now in the just after the quiz in San Juan. He's actually a Jamaican guy who does.
I know it's I see it's right next to Steve's Electronic.
Yeah,
it's right next to. It's a
really nice.
Really?
Yeah.
I must try it out. Maybe today I'll try it out. I'm finicky when it comes to food. Shelley and Charles will tell you I'm very particular with my food, right, Shelley? Yeah. How was your Diwali? Did you eat like Steve can?
I actually have not had the best last couple of days, but I went to Port of Spain yesterday, and I actually went to El Pico's. I like El Pico's food, and they had curry, and so I purchased curry from them. But if you see, I passed by Hot Shop in St. James. If you see the people out, I want people out there. I
Yeah,
can't
all
handle
those
that. I
roti
love,
shops
yeah.
right by
El Seco's curry was quite good.
yeah. There's a roti shop right opposite. There's a road opposite the Pet Butler on Elscore Road, and there's a
Mm,
roti shop. You left, you buy bus up shot, and you right, you buy dal puri. Let me
mm,
tell you, Wednesday, if you see people, and then yesterday,
mm.
if you see people, and they're walking around with one skin, it's bags of skin. Like, oh, you're going for roti? Buy two for me, buy three for me. I bought my roti Wednesday afternoon. I went to Ali's in St. James.
Huh?
Yeah, 'cause I know the guy. He's a customer at the Pet Butler,
Oh,
Neil. So
oh
I came in on Tuesday to buy some dog food. I said, Neil, I come in tomorrow after lunch to pick up roti. He said, what you want? I said, I'll WhatsApp it to you on Wednesday morning, which I did. I got there, it was all ready. I stayed all of 5 minutes.
yeah.
So, you know.
I ate rice yesterday actually. I normally do the bus up shot, but I had rice, white rice. I haven't had a white rice in God alone knows how long.
Really? No, I had curry and rice and
Mm.
pumpkin and bus up shot and dal curry. I love both. Favor more dal curry than anything
But
else.
last night, my God, Arima was like a war zone. Oh
Yeah,
goodness, I couldn't sleep. I didn't sleep actually.
yeah.
It was
That's
like
where
a
your Forex
war
is
zone.
going. Your Forex is buying
My
fireworks
goodness.
and pumpkins. That's where your Forex is
Oh
going.
my
That's where
God.
you can get.
Mm. Mm. It
That's
was
where your
terrible.
Forex
It was
is going.
terrible.
So it is
But
Forex thing. I see
there was a heavy shower of rain yesterday at
yesterday.
some
Yes,
point in
there
time.
was. Didn't I
Yeah,
got no rain
and
by me, but I saw it. I heard about it.
it didn't fall in Arima, strange enough, but it fell because I was on my way back up the road, somewhere between 3, 4 o'clock so, and
Mm-hmm.
it was pouring rain, hard, really hard, you know, blinding
Yeah.
rain. And guess what? Yours truly, when he was going into Port of Spain, drove into the Piaco car wash place and had my vehicle washed. So
What Piaco car wash? We have a car
what
wash place
happened
in
after.
Piaco.
Yeah, when you're driving Piaco Plaza, on the road to Piaco, on your left there, where that Plaza is.
Mm-hmm.
There's a plaza when you turn in the road to Piaco
Mm-hmm.
with fens and all these home
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
furnishing places and
Well,
restaurants and
it's
things.
home furnishings now, I think.
And I think it's churches chicken there too. Right. Inside of they have with that car wash thing that you drive. You don't have to exit your car unless you're doing that inside. You drive in and they're washing your car in no time at all. They're really good. This is the second time I've been there. And I like the service that they give. And well, I don't have to tell you, it was like a throwing money around the drain because I had to drive through that rain and dirty water later.
Mm-hmm.
So,
I like to wash my own car.
yeah,
My car, I haven't washed it in like 2 weeks. So, but I
right.
just
I like
wasn't going to do it. I just wanted to relax yesterday. I watched out the. Let me say good morning to our listener out in LA. I did watch that game 5 of the World Series. That was a really good game. So congratulations to the LA Dodgers coming from 5-0 to win 6-5.
mm,
It was, and of course, the LA. You have a parade in Los Angeles this morning. The LA Dodgers. They have the parade today. So I watched that late on Wednesday night, and I slept like a baby. I slept like a baby. I really hope you get onto that flight.
if I don't, I mean, there's myself and my daughter, so it's once she gets to go, even if I don't get to go, it's not a problem.
Yeah, I see in the news here that businesses urge government to regulate banks' forex distribution. That forex thing is, I don't know.
Yeah, it's getting really really dicey.
Yeah,
The
it
issue
is.
of foreign exchange. Because
And let me
once
tell you,
Scotiabank is your release like that, all the other banks will follow, right?
yeah, because all those flights, I don't know if your flight will be full, but I know all those flights during the July, August holidays were filled, including London and US and Canada. And the bank's not giving the US, so you know what's going on. The black market trade is thriving.
Yeah.
Yeah, I know somebody that paid $11 for US, but he
Oh
was
goodness,
desperate.
no.
Yeah, he would no, he had to go up. Someone took him ill, and he had to fly up, and I just happened to bounce him up, and we were chatting. He said, "Boy, I had to buy it at 11." He said, "It hurt me, but I needed it."
Yeah, I don't know if I could
Yeah, I
ever
needed
get
it.
that desperate now.
Yeah, he nah. For when he explained to me, yeah, I could understand. I could
Mm.
really understand.
Yeah,
Um,
man. Oh,
but imagine that
I
$11.
cringe. I, yeah,
The
I
average is
cringe at
between 8
eight.
and 8.50.
Yeah.
Probably touch on 9, but 11, that block
Mm.
it away. That black market trade is thriving.
Just quickly for the folks who sending me messages on my phone, I can't read it because I'm using my phone for the show. Okay. I am aware that messages are coming, but I can't read it. I can't interrupt the show to read it. Sorry. So just
Yeah.
sending me a message on my phone. I won't be.
Oh, he got cut off. All right, he'll join. I mean, somebody probably called him. Some other people are saying hellos. So let's see. Wendy and James. Wendy and James, she said, why these men feel they own women. I have no idea. I have no idea. Michael Gradison, good morning. Says, stand by as you was. Lisa Marie Mohammed, special good morning to you. Let's see. Wendell is joining back. Mo Games, good
I
morning.
just got bumped off. Am I
Yeah,
back on?
yeah, you are. Salim Abdullah, good morning. Rena Budu Jennings, Michael Robinson in Yokohama, Japan. Kyla Cupid. Um, okay. Colette Finch and Judy Adams. It's Friday. Um, yeah, 7-6. Yeah, after I said it, I realized it was 7-6 that the Dodgers won by. I said 5-6. I said 6-5. Yeah, it's 7-6. That was really a good game. Can I understand the game so I can enjoy it?
Steve, I got bumped off there for a while.
Yeah, but you rejoined. Evans David, good morning
Oh,
to you as well. Yeah, before you came on, I was mentioning that a young lady, 21 years old, and her 1-year-old baby were kidnapped in the Carney area by the alleged ex-husband.
no more.
Yeah, a 1-year-old, huh?
Mm.
I don't know. Richie Rich, good morning to you, my friend. Woo, you pouring 10 pounds there. What up, curry boy?
Yeah, good morning. That's the best thing you can tell somebody as soon as they join.
Yeah. Woo. I think you
Yeah,
still have some curry on
you
your
know, that's
shit.
wonderful human.
Yeah.
Um, but yeah, no, I didn't eat anything actually
What?
that curry wise yesterday.
What?
One of the few times really. I know for Diwali, everybody is by the way, good morning, callers and listeners. I just bypass everybody. Good morning to our listeners and viewers, wherever you are. Yeah, it's one of those few times you didn't eat and line up for paratha and dal puri.
Mm-hmm.
So there's always a line.
And there was
And there
all
was
over.
yesterday was no different.
Nope.
And in terms of those long lines, even from the day before, quite frankly.
Well, I bought mine the day before.
Yeah, even from the day because some orders were closed off since like a day or two before.
Mm-hmm.
Because people know, if you can make paratha and dal puri, you can make money Indian arrival day, and you can make money for Diwali.
Indian arrival day, Eid, and Diwali.
I tried to make Basapshan once, and it was such. I mean, they say you really have to do it and keep doing it and keep doing it, and you become better at it. But I did it once, and I was like, "Oh my god, I need to charge more for this." That was my outcome. That I felt, oh my god. I mean, it didn't come out great, but it wasn't horrible.
Mm-hmm.
But nah, I tried my hand at it once. But some experts in it say no, you have to keep doing it. They have to keep doing it. They have to keep doing it, and you become an expert eventually, and it doesn't take as long.
Yeah.
So who knows? But anyway, good morning on this Friday morning. The weekend has begun, people, and it is Friday. So get ready for the weekend. So put a smile on your face, even if you are in traffic right now. I don't think you should be yet. And I know some of you ain't going to work today because you had a holiday yesterday, and I know plenty of you took the Friday.
Yeah.
It's a tradition with many people taking the Friday so that they have an extra long weekend. I know you out there. Don't pretend. I know you. I know you. I see you. I've done it on occasion. I think once or twice actually. But yeah, so they have a nice weekend.
Mm-hmm.
I think I had to take off the Wi-Fi here. It's terrible. And use my data.
Oh, okay.
Mhm.
And we still have to get, as you talked about Wi-Fi there, we still have to get Minister Penelope Beckles Robinson on the program. She had offered when she spoke to me to talk about the Arima Smart City project because they did launch it. There is Wi-Fi in Central Arima, free Wi-Fi from the hospital, which is on Railway Road around there, and all the way up to the Arima Town Hall. Of course, coming up the main streets of the Arima city center, all connected Arima. I mean, I haven't really tried to connect it. So it stops on Sozano Street, where the Arima Town Hall is, but that Wi-Fi is broadcast. It gives you like 20 Mbps for like a connection for 15 or 20 minutes, and you have to reconnect. Something like that. I went on it when I was in Central Arima to look to see what were the restrictions. But it's something like that. But the bigger statement that I'm really making is that the minister had indicated a willingness to discuss the entire project and what the benefits they hope will accrue from Arima being the first smart city in Trinidad and Tobago. So it would be good to get her on to discuss that. I don't know how much Minister Bacchus would have to say about it too. We haven't spoken to him in a while. Who's the minister? Yeah, the Minister of Digitization or Digital Transformation. So he may have something to say about it too. But she did offer, so we should try and take her up on that.
Yeah, I'll see if I get her when I come off, and I'll see if I get her for Monday or anything.
Yeah, I see the foreign exchange woes continue.
Yeah, we were just talking about that.
I know. I heard a little bit of it. Since Scotiabank reduced its limit on credit cards to $2,000, I think per month per card, something like that, up to a maximum of 2,000 US. I don't know if the other banks are going to follow, but
of course
certainly, certainly economists are discussing it. And one economist suggested that the government should make legislation to limit the amount of US dollars banks can utilize for investments in foreign markets, because that's part of their short-term investment portfolios and their business. Banks usually have foreign investments. And in one of the articles today in newspapers, some economists were saying, at least one, I think it was Valmiki Arjun, was suggesting that banks actually have a surplus of US that they don't make accessible to the public because they're utilizing it for those foreign investments. And that the government should actually make legislation to control that. So that the
why is that now becoming a suggestion then? Look at how long we've been having this foreign exchange situation.
I don't know. I don't know. So, I mean, I think it was Valmiki Arjun that made that statement. I made that suggestion. I may be subject to correction. So maybe it's something we could speak with him at some point to find out exactly what it means. And
one thing we know.
Yeah, go on.
One thing we know for sure is that banks are awash with money. We know that for sure.
Yeah.
That they are awash with money. they're recording all these millions of dollars in profits every year. You understand? And that probably are those probably are conservative figures that they're giving us still. You know what I mean? They are washed with money. They want people to come in and borrow and all. Every 2 months they're sending you some kind of letter.
Yeah.
So,
I mean, I don't know how it will all play out. I mean, this whole foreign exchange issue is quite tedious. And I mean, ultimately, it falls to the government, I guess, to solve it.
yeah.
Because you were elected to manage the affairs of the country, so you need to deal with that issue. And I know a lot of it revolves around not only supply and demand, and that Trinidadians and Tobagonians have a high propensity for using foreign exchange. Because of course we love our online shopping.
Yeah. I was just telling Wendell, I know someone who's I think it's this morning, that for emergency reason, and he had to buy US at $11 to one.
$11 is crazy.
Yeah, that's crazy. I don't know where Richard went to now.
Yeah.
Oh, there you are. Yeah, he had to buy it at $11 to one, Richie Rich. But he was desperate.
Well, it's cheaper to buy it in the airport. The airport is not $11. I think it's like $9.
Yeah, well, I think he wanted some more. So I told him that. But he said no, he's actually going to the airport to buy some more.
The airport is like $9. They're not as high as
he needed more. So
a little less than
you know, Jamaica is actually one of the few places that I've been. If not the only place, I think, where at the airport there's a cambio, right? And they exchange Trinidad and Tobago dollars for their dollars.
Oh, really?
I've never experienced that anywhere. I've never seen a cambio that has a sign up that they're taking Trinidad and Tobago dollars also. Never seen it.
Don't they do that in China too?
I'm not sure, I would not have had.
You know why I brought that up? Because apparently there's some journalists. I think there's some journalists or media people in China currently.
Okay.
Because you're getting some articles out of China, and I saw an article by some guy, I can't remember his name, about cashless shopping in China. And
the
cashless society move. And he was talking about the fact that in the airport he changed in the article he said in the airport he changed Trinidad and Tobago dollars to yuan.
Yuan.
And he said, so I was like, oh, you can change directly. That was the first thing that came into my mind because that's how he wrote it. And then but basically the story was about how even to pay for cash, some merchants were a little confused that he was using cash and not his phone to do transactions or a card just to tap and stuff like that. And because he said a lot of their transactions, a lot of their merchants are basically on a cashless road because obviously China is on that road to being cashless.
My visit to China was in 2019. I actually don't remember being able to change TT dollars, but it's quite possible because China is moving so fast in terms of everything that they do. I wouldn't be surprised because it's like equivalent to 1 yuan is like 1 TT dollar. It's pretty close. I think that at least it was that way then. I don't know what it is now. What's the exchange rate now? It was pretty close back then. But that'd be interesting. But Jamaica is the only place I've been to that I've actually seen it. You can change TT dollars at the airport.
I know another thing that cropped up today was the issue of ethnic wear, Indian wear being banned by some Presbyterian primary school. It is an article in one of the newspapers.
I thought they had rescinded that. I thought they had issued something.
I don't know. Well, it's an article today. I didn't even know about it. But the Minister of Education came out to say that that there is no policy by the Ministry of Education that says that you could not wear. If I may just read a little bit about it before we go to calls. Minister orders probe into Indian wear ban. Education Minister Dr. Nan Gatsby Dolly says there is no policy barring children from wearing clothing other than their school uniform to attend functions at their schools. The minister told the newspaper yesterday that she is now investigating and has asked for a report regarding a memo that was sent to the principal of the Penal Rock Presbyterian School that resulted in the students being unable to wear East Indian attire on the eve of Diwali on Wednesday. Guardian Media reported on the story on Wednesday after obtaining a copy of the circular reportedly sent by a school supervisor to the school's principal. The memo informed the principal of a policy that students could not wear traditional apparel to school and would therefore have to report in their uniforms and then change over during the course of the school day. The principal expressed concern about this process and as a result opted to cancel the idea. This upset parents, some of whom had purchased Indian wear for their children for the occasion. However, commenting on the decision via WhatsApp yesterday, Gatsby Dolly said principals had the authority to authorize variations to the school uniform for school activities, and this had been the practice. She added no official of the Ministry of Education, including the Permanent Secretary, the Chief Education Officer, and the Director of School Supervision, have identified any policy, official or unwritten, which restricts variation of a school uniform by principals for school activities, and none which specifies that students can only change out of uniform while on the school compound. So that's kind of like a précis of the entire, a précis of what happened. Of course, the article goes on, but that's kind of a précis of it. So we'll see. I didn't even know that that was an issue. I only saw it because this one I was like, what was this? But the major story, of course, is the Forex issue.
I don't know why, Maya.
And when I'm looking at the headlines, so it's probably going to be the subject of our poll today. Either that or that story that I just read. But I mean, it's about this time that we would open up the lines so that you could get interactive with this morning. I don't know if Steve is around. I can't tell if he is or not.
Yeah, I don't know what happened here.
Yeah, because you're not online and I can't see you. So I don't know if we can open up the lines at this point. There's several issues making its way on this. You know what was interesting last night? I actually went to cinema last night with Karen to see Venom, The Last Dance at 40X, the one where your seat moves and stuff like that.
Oh, geez.
Oh my God, that's it, real move up.
The first time I went to 40X, it was to watch the first Venom. And I got bumped off on the video, so I'm coming back on now. Okay. And boy, let me tell you, I was beaten up after that movie. That thing real move.
Well, no, but this is the real move in that movie. I mean, you were going all over because you don't have all these fight scenes.
Yeah.
And you were going all over and things whizzing past, the bricks. But 40X experience.
Mm-hmm.
But interestingly enough, that's what I'm talking about. I mean, it was a nice experience. But on the way back, usually I thought you would see a much more lighting of deers and stuff. They used to have all of these arrangements that you would see.
The bamboo arrangements?
Yeah, the bamboo arrangements and stuff. I felt I didn't see much last night on my way down, and I took the highway, and I really did. I saw fireworks taking place.
Oh.
And they had some houses.
That's where Forex is.
I saw some, you pass some houses where deers were. I remember as children, even though we were a Catholic household, we had to light deers and stuff. It was all part of, what our parents would have done back then. Mm-hmm. That you lit deers and because it was all that celebration of light. And Trinidad still is, to agree, that kind of place where, even though you may not be of a particular religion, you still celebrate in some sort of way.
But that's how we grew up in St. James, Richard.
That's how but that's what I was just saying. That's how we grew up in Arima. I
Yeah.
mean, we used to light deers and stuff for Diwali, and and you would celebrate other religious festivals, at least understanding what it was about, even though our parents were Catholic.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Our
playground in St. James for most of the year, and especially around Diwali time, was the Mandir that situated right next to the park in St. James, which is right opposite my grandmother's place. That's where we used to play. As a matter of fact, there was no wall between the park and the Mandir at one point in time. You could have just go straight through from the park to the Mandir. You know what I mean? And eventually they put up a wall and a gate, because they still put a gate so that people could access the Mandir from the park or vice versa. And that still exists today. So that's how we grew up.
Exactly, and I don't know how much that still holds now in younger families or generations now, but what I did find, Wendell, was coming from cinema last night, I felt I didn't see much places lit up. I mean, at least where I passed. And then I went along the highway, and I thought I would have seen some, like maybe in the Aranguez area, but the Aranguez area has developed so much into a commercial district. But I saw some houses, but I didn't see any elaborate, deer
public places that lit up.
I didn't see many.
Yeah.
And I don't know, of course, maybe I had to go down more central Trinidad to see all of that. I don't know. But it was something that you would see. I remember that was something you also used to do on Diwali night, that my dad and mom would carry us
go driving.
Go driving to see lights.
Yeah.
That's what you do. So I'm talking to Karen, I'm telling him about it. When we go now, I say, but this is all pre-cell phones and pre-TikTok and pre-social media. I don't even know it's difficult for parents to get their children to say, all right, let's go and see lights. They'll be like, what?
Yeah.
I can see that on TikTok.
I don't know that families still do that. Maybe they do, but down Diego Martin and in Bagatelle, there's an area that they light up, a big area. In St. James to on Metal Street, the same street with the Mandir, they normally light that family, the Singh family normally lights up that street, And before, when I used to be the local government rep, we used to get the street blocked off, and there were crowds of people coming there just to see it.
Maybe we could open up the lines at this point.
Yeah, we could do that. 222-8255. You know the numbers. Good morning, caller.
Good morning, Steve.
Morning.
Richard and Wendell. Wendell, that we are hearing the announcements in the airport. Anyhow, I want to say about that principal or the school that maybe gave the children that instruction. I find it to be a bit silly, because why will you want to walk with that kind of thing? With the boys might be different, but what about the girls? Suppose they have the little saris and thing, who putting it up for them, who wrapping it, and who fixing them up? That got to be nonsensical. You understand? It's either they wait from home and I think all schools all over Arima, I see the school children in the Indian wear, and same thing with African wear, and when around the time when school the occasions fall. So I don't know what nonsense I hearing about that school. Anyhow, I have a beef this morning. I want to call on the Minister of Trade. I am calling on her and the department, one of them under her watch, I think Consumer Affairs would fall under her. Whatever on earth is going on with these appliances that are being sold in Trinidad and Tobago? I understand they're coming from different parts of Latin America. And when you have it within a year, something going wrong and you can't get a part. It come like so many cars. What it is going on? They have to put down their foot on these conglomerates that bring in these different things like washing machines and stuff and so fridges and so and you're bringing it from these countries and you cannot get a part. Lo and behold, I had a family with a problem with a washing machine, only to be told that part has to be sourced. And they are sourcing it for you from Latin America. Imagine that you have something stamped a brand name that we know is an American brand name, and it's not coming from America. So it's a different part number, and you can't source it online. What nonsense am I seeing going on in this country? So every year you're going to buy a washing machine or a fridge or a stove. And other things, I'm calling on the Minister of Trade. Look into that. If you're going to bring appliances to sell, stock a number of parts. Enough that should, in case things go wrong with it, consumers can have the parts to get. And that is my beef for this morning.
You're not the only one with that beef.
Yeah, but this time we talk out, man. Call on them to stop this nonsense.
Yeah.
And the appliance is not cheap. Thank you.
Okay.
Right.
Yeah, I know exactly what you speak of. Paul too.
I joined Zena in that
Yeah,
because I find it's a complaint again and a lot now from people. You hear a lot
remember somebody called a while back that he bought a refrigerator and it's been sitting in a warehouse for over a year.
Yeah.
Well, I remember years ago, I sat on a committee that was looking at consumer legislation that was to address issues like that. And if you were selling a product, you had to have the parts to fix that product as part of the legislation coming out of consumer legislation that was being considered and being drafted. I'm talking about years ago. I was one of the reps on that committee.
Good morning.
And of course, this being Trinidad and Tobago, you just sometimes like to waste your time on these committees, make all sorts of suggestions, and then zero happens.
Yeah. Good morning, caller.
It was something I was considered years ago. I can remember that.
Good morning.
Morning.
Good morning.
I want to start this morning by congratulating the police in Tobago for the good job they did in intercepting 6 men who were wanted in Trinidad, and they got them in Tobago, and they sent them. They escorted them back. Well done, officers. Although there was a robbery at a gas station and I think Pizza Boys. So thank God the police were able to intercept those 6 because there might have been more robberies in Tobago. So officers, take a bow in Tobago. Keep up the good work. And what Zena was saying about this, where I heard the Minister of Education on the news this morning talking about, or yesterday, that it is a policy in the ministry that whenever there's any festival, schools are allowed to wear whatever, if it's emancipation, Diwali, what. So I don't understand how that principle, because down here in Diamondville, my grandson's class, they were all dressed up in, and you see, this is the thing I have a problem with. You cannot have a policy and a principal could just decide where my children are wearing nowhere, whether whatever. No, if there's a policy, that principal, it's not at her or him, win or fancy. Man, look,
but there are principles like that,
Well, according to the article, this is a correction. It was not the principal.
It was who?
The principal said they got a memo.
What?
Yeah, the principal said.
Wait. That is what I'm talking about, Richard.
A memo from who?
You cannot have a policy.
Sent by a school supervisor. It was a memo.
Hold on.
And then somebody could come and wear. If you have a rule, I worked at the tourist board years ago, and we could not wear jeans to the office unless you're going on some field trip or whatever. This is the nonsense. That's why this country is so lawless. Because
I just want to make that.
Hang on, Digomata. Right,
I
Rich.
just want to make it clear that according to the
All right.
article, Guardian Media reported on the story on Wednesday after obtaining a copy of the circular purportedly sent by a school supervisor, one, to the school's principal. The memo informed the principal of a policy that students could not wear traditional apparel to school and would therefore have to report in their uniforms and then change over during the course of the school day.
Oh, well, that sounds like
Really?
mischief.
Well, that rule is because, well, Diamond Vale School and all who were never got that memo because this is crazy.
Well, the Minister of Education says there is no such.
Right, man. As my father used to say, oh God, all your peasants do
Yeah.
get
Thanks,
it
Digger
right.
Martin.
Yeah.
Come on.
Thank
all
you.
have a blessed weekend.
Thank you.
Thank you. But the Minister of Education says, of course, it's not. There is no such rule.
Yeah.
They are investigating it.
All right. So remember that story I spoke about the 21-year-old and the 1-year-old baby who was kidnapped. They've been found. They were safely located. The matter is being investigated by the TTPS. And of course, kudos going out to the Quinnipiac Police Station and the Carney Police Station for that great news. All right.
Okay.
They left a marital home to go by a relative in Carney, and the ex found her and grabbed her and had the baby against their will. She has been found. All right. Alive. I have to say that these days. Alive.
That's great news.
All right, Rich, let's get into the headline, shall we? And let's come up with a poll. Wendell, leaving the poll up to you.
Well, remember, I suggested that the poll could be, should the government create legislation to limit the amount of US dollars banks can utilize for investments in foreign markets?
Well, to free up US dollars for us.
Yeah, because one
It's
of
not to limit. It's not to limit what they invest in. It's to free it up for us, the consumers.
Well, to limit so that it could be available too.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
All right, we'll go with that. All right, Rich, you have a minute and a half to go through headlines.
But that would be a legislative thing. But anyway, do you want the government to get involved in that kind of legislation? But anyway, the Trinidad and Tobago Guardian, let me start with that since I've been quoting from them. And of course, today is Friday, November 1st. It's the first day of the month of November as we head towards Christmas. So it's November 1st. Calm must step in. And that's the headline on the Trinidad and Tobago Guardian this morning. Economists, businesses urge government to regulate banks' Forex distribution. So it could be generally like that. Do you think the government should regulate banks in terms of dealing with the Forex situation?
Use calm. Use the headline. Should
Calm
calm in, but
step
free
in.
up.
So economists and businesses urge government to regulate banks' foreign Forex distribution. Minister orders probe into Indian wear ban. Father-son gunned down in Valencia. These are some of the sub-headlines. And there is Diwali Splendor. Anna Garcia left and Catalina Jagdeo light starlights from Diaz on a bamboo boat display at the Korea Connection Cricket Club Diwali celebration in Korea, Karapachima last night. So I suppose that's where I need to go. On the back page of the Trinidad and Tobago Guardian, Carter strikes World Cup gold. That's the main headline, and that's all you need to know. Moving on to the Newsday, so congratulations. I suppose that's Dylan Carter. With regard to, let me make sure who it is. Yes, Dylan Carter won the gold medal.
Dylan.
Some people say Dylan. He says Dylan.
Dylan
Carter
Carter
won the gold medal in the men's 50-meter freestyle final on the opening night of the finals at the third and final leg of the World Aquatic Swimming World Cup in Singapore. Newsday, front page. Munilal to bring bill to Parliament. Politicians must pay for witch hunts. That's the headline that the Newsday went with. Scotiabank lowers credit card US dollar limit. That's also on the front page of the Newsday. And of course, the main picture is that of Diwali celebrations. Christina Thomas, Caleb Primus at 4, and Christiana Thomas 5, and Isabella Thomas have fun with starlights as they enjoy the Diwali festivities at Patna Village, Martin on October 31st. And on the back page of the Newsday, Ghana parts ways with Shabazz after Golden Jaguars' disappointing Nations League campaign. And Bishop's High cop 3 Tobago schools netball titles. That's the front and the back of the Newsday. Moving on to the Daily Express today. Main story that they went with, Forex fallout. Scotia cuts U.S. limit on credit cards. Confederation warns of crippling effect on business. And that's the only main headline that they went with. The main picture is that of Diwali celebrations. And 3-year-old Rhea Jones lights a deer on a bamboo display yesterday at Francis Road, Maraval. That's the main picture. Safety issues at Presal secondary students stay away. Back page. Protests continue at TN Tech. Demonstrations across Trinidad and Tobago. They also have an article on Highway Lady, Miss Joycey, better known as Princess Margaret. She dies at 84. I'm not moving. I live all my life here. So they were quoting what she would have said. And of course, everybody knows about that story and that name. And the main sports story in the Express today is Speedy Carter, Trinidad and Tobago Olympic swimmer, lands second 50-meter free gold in World Cup Series in Singapore. Paul turns attention to Champions League. That's, of course, is Nicholas Paul. And rain for Straits, Harpy Eagles, and CCC. Frenchman Humber upsets Alcaraz in Paris. All of that is part of the sports news in the Daily Express this morning. So now you know those are all of our main stories in our 3 dailies this morning.
All right, let's get this morning's poll. Start calling 222-8255, toll-free North Americans, 866-525-1099. Our morning poll, Richie Rich.
I suppose we could just make it simple, Wendell. Should the government step in to regulate banks' distribution of foreign exchange?
All right. I thought you might have want to use him in his name now, in as much as most of the headlines use his name. Should Carl Mimbert step in? He stepped in the pilot's issue. So let's give him the glory this morning now. Let's give him some glory this morning. Should Carl Mimbert step in to fix the foreign exchange issue?
With banks.
Yeah.
With banks.
All right. Yeah. Yes or no? We'd love to hear where you messaging us or calling us from. It'll come up on our screen in a short. Let's get our first call. Good morning.
Good morning again. Like yesterday. Hell yes.
So our poll this morning, should Carl Mimbert intervene with Forex distribution by the banks? We're keeping it simple. It's a little bit more complex than that, but we're keeping it simple. But that's our poll. Should Carl Mimbert, the Minister of Finance, intervene with Forex distribution by the banks? Yes or no? That's our poll this morning. 222-TALK, 222-8255. North Americans, 866-525-1099. That's absolutely toll free. You can WhatsApp us at 318-1021. And of course, you can send your votes on streaming platforms via the messaging portals there. Should Carl Mimbert, the Minister of Finance, intervene with Forex distribution by the banking sector? That's our poll this morning.
We try to understand how some politicians think. They like to hear the name call when they fix a problem. See, like how you step in that pilot situation and fix it, 4% and end the protest.
Yeah.
All right. You go fix it.
Catherine Henry saying yes. David Wares by 2 saying yes. Cheryl Henry, yes. John Cato, yes. Johnson Noel from Arima says yes. Julia S. Batiste, yes. Calvert Gabriel, Heavens, yes. Greggy Bauer, yes. Anthony Tinto in Canada says yes. Cascade St. Anne says yes. I have Vincent in the UK saying yes. Strong says yes. Let's see, who's this? Somebody else says yes. Wendy Logie. All right, Wendy. Saying yes. I got Anthony Tinto. Should the Minister of Finance, the Honorable Colin Imbert, intervene with Forex distribution by the banks? Yes or no? That's our poll. Anthony Miguel in New York says yes. Evans David says yes. Slick Money Grip says yes. Sean Mahey says yes. CJ from New York, absolutely yes. All right. Let's check WhatsApp. Nothing new came there. Andre says yes. Boswell John says yes. Alistair Hart says yes. Should the Minister of Finance, Colin Imbert, intervene with Forex distribution by the banks? Yes or no? Shima Paul says yes. How you pronounce that, Wendell? Or not? Timothy? Or need? Yes.
I can't see. Sorry.
Okay. Michael Gradison says yes. It's ridiculous. I have somebody else. Captain Ron says yes. All right. You have like a minute again to vote on our poll.
So should the Minister of Finance, Com Imber, intervene with Forex distribution by the banks?
Yeah. Yes or no?
That's our poll this morning on this Friday morning. What says you?
Michael Robinson says yes. Kenwin, birthday boy, says yes. Roger Seawing says yes. John Joseph says yes to the poll. All right, let's see if we have any more. Any more coming through? Let's see. All right. Should the Minister of Finance, Colin Imbert, intervene with Forex distribution by the banks? That's our poll.
On this Friday morning.
Friday.
It's All Saints Day. It's All Saints Day.
Oh, yes, it is All Saints Day.
Yep,
That's right. I forgot about that. All right, let's get into our 7 o'clock major news, shall we? AV is in.
This is your news bulletin from Power 102 Digital.
Caribbean Airlines authorized to settle with 4% increase in salaries for pilots. NCIC maintains it won't be used like a political football. Another commercial bank reportedly cuts U.S. limit on credit cards, and a father and son are gunned down in Valencia. Details in a moment. This is news to 7 o'clock on Power 102 Digital. I'm Afril Sintil Bab. Good morning. Minister of Finance, Colin Imbert, has authorized the Caribbean Airlines to settle the September 2015 to August 2020 period with Trinidad and Tobago Airline Pilots Association with a 4% increase in salaries. Government has instructed the pilots to be offered a further 4% increase in salaries for the next bargaining period, September 2020 to August 2023. It explains the move is being taken after having given this dispute careful consideration in the interest of good industrial relations. It revealed Caribbean Airlines informed the Minister of Finance that while the figures the airline provided to him for public dissemination regarding the pilot's salaries were correct, the figure for pilots' allowances provided by CAL was incorrect. It expects CAL will promptly correct that inaccuracy. The National Council for Indian Culture says the group and Diwali Nagar celebrations will not be used as a political football. Independent Senator and NCIC President Durup Timal made the comment during closing remarks of the final night of Diwali Nagar celebrations in Chaguanas this week. Timal said the NCIC would not steer from its mission and be manipulated for the sake of politics. His remark comes in the context of calls from some to withdraw the invitation to then acting Prime Minister Stuart Young, who was initially carded to deliver the feature address in the absence of Prime Minister Dr. Rowley. The Global Organization of People of Indian Origin supported the call, claiming Young had offended Hindu women with his recent controversial comments towards opposition leader Kamla Prasad Basasa during the budget debate and was unworthy of speaking at a religious event of the prestige of the Diwali Nagar. Media reports say Scotiabank TNT announced recently from December 1st, 2024, it would reduce the maximum US dollar spending limit per calendar month on its credit cards until further notice. It said the US dollar spending limit on the Aero MasterCard Black would be reduced to US $5,000, and on all other personal cards, the limit would be reduced to US $2,000. In a notice to its customers, the bank stated this change includes all transactions conducted outside of Trinidad and Tobago, along with all international online transactions. It revealed all TNT dollar transactions conducted online or at local merchants remained unaffected. This update comes amid concern about the availability of foreign exchange locally. The report said in September last year, Republic Bank advised its customers, effective September 21st, 2023, the US dollar limit on its credit cards would be reduced down from $10,000 US dollars to $5,000 per cycle. It said on July 19th, 2024, RBC Royal Bank said it would cut its credit card holders' monthly foreign currency spending limit by $10,000 or $1,500 US dollars effective September 1st. Education Minister Dr. Niall Gasby-Dolly says there is no policy barring children from wearing clothing other than their school uniform to attend functions at their schools. The minister has asked for a report regarding a memo that was sent to the principal of the Penal Rock Presbyterian School that resulted in students being unable to wear East Indian attire on the eve of Diwali on Wednesday. The memo allegedly informed the principal of a policy that students could not wear traditional apparel to school and would therefore have to report in their uniforms and then change over during the course of the school day. The principal expressed concern about this process and as a result opted to cancel the idea. Investigations are continuing into the murder of a father and son in Valencia. Another son was said to be fighting for his life at hospital last night after gunmen attacked the relatives in Valencia on Wednesday night. The victims have been identified as 54-year-old Harry Ramdani and his 18-year-old son Aleem Ramdani. Officers at the Valencia police post said they received a report of a shooting on Lewis Lane Plantation Road, Valencia at 10 p.m. When officers responded, they found Harry Ramdani in front of his doorway already dead, and his sons Aleem and Salim, 20, suffering from gunshot wounds to the head but showing signs of life. The two siblings were rushed to the Sangre Grande General Hospital, where Aleem was pronounced dead at 1:05 a.m. yesterday. Salim remained in critical condition up to last night. Crime scene investigators recovered 24 spent shells of different calibers at the scene. A mother and her one-year-old baby have been found safely after they were kidnapped by a man following a domestic dispute in the central area yesterday. According to reports, police were tight-lipped over the incident. Police said that they were unable to provide further developments in the case. They stated that the safety of those involved was their top priority. According to reports, the incident stemmed from a domestic dispute, and the male suspect is said to be a known firearm offender. Officers of the Conopia police station responded to the report, and they are probing the incident along with the Caroni police. You are listening to news on Power 102 Digital to 7 o'clock. West Indies men's cricket team goes into the second 50 overs one-day international against England on Saturday with a 1-0 lead in the third match series of the Sir Vivian Richards Cricket Ground North Sound, Antigua. The regional side secured an 8-wicket win against the visitors on Sunday under the Duckworth-Lewis system in a rain-affected match. Batting first, England made 209 runs with captain Liam Livingstone scoring 48 runs and player of the match Gadakish Muti taking 4 wickets for 41 runs as well as 2 catches. In reply, West Indies made a revised victory target of 152 runs to win with 55 balls remaining. The result was set up by Evan Lewis, who made 94 runs from 69 balls, which included 5 fours and 8 sixes. Well, finally, here's weather news for the period today till midnight. Trinidad and Tobago, hot and sunny day can be interrupted by partly cloudy periods from late morning to afternoon with light showers. There's also the low to medium chance of the isolated afternoon heavier shower or thunderstorm. Nighttime will be mostly fair. Gusty winds and street or flash flooding may occur in or near heavy showers or thunderstorms. You can expect a temperature high of 34 degrees Celsius at Piarco International Airport and 32 degrees Celsius at Crown Point in Tobago. Currently, it's 28 degrees Celsius at both localities. Recapping your headlines to 7 o'clock, Caribbean Airlines authorized to settle with 4% increase in salaries for pilots. NCIC maintains it won't be used as a political football. Another commercial bank reportedly cuts U.S. limit on credit cards, and a father and son are gunned down in Valencia. I'm Avril Sintil-Bab. That was news at 7 o'clock on Power 102 Digital. There's more news coming your way at 12 noon today, and there's an update at 8 o'clock this morning. For more details, log on to power102fm.com.
Up to date and credible. Power 102 Digital.
Alrighty, thank you, Evie. It's so funny. Evie stopped. The camera just went blank. So Evie's reading it's like a ghost. Anyway, thank you, Evie, for our major news. You can join her again come 8 o'clock this morning for our news brief. All right. Quickly, let's see if we have any issues on our highways and on the byways. Okay, everything so far seems to be cleared up. All right. You got some traffic from Barrett Carrier heading in Port between Trin City to UE and the Uriah Solo. Not too bad at this time. Okay. All right. Let's see our morning poll. As soon as it comes up on the screen, I'll tell you. And I had zoomed in for Evie so I can zoom back out. Right. Here we go. All right. So our morning poll. Oops.
Should Conglomerates intervene with Forex distribution by the banks? So that was our poll this morning. Should Conglomerates, the Minister of Finance, intervene with Forex distribution by the banks?
Yeah.
That's our poll this morning. I don't know if we have any additional votes.
I'm checking here now.
Should I just give the results?
And your butt says yes. Rio Claro, Dre out in Rio Claro says yes. If Ruben could put the question up on the screen one more time.
Should Conglomerates, the Minister of Finance, intervene with Forex distribution by...
Beauty Culture says yes. Wayne Lala says yes. Okay, let's get the results then. That's it.
Well, basically, you heard the poll. Should Conglomerates, the Minister of Finance, intervene with Forex distribution by the banks and by the banking sector? And of course, we had 36 people voting in the allotted time this morning. And of the 36 people, every one of you said yes.
100%
Nobody said no. So one of our few polls where you have no dissent at all. Sometimes you have at least one person saying no. Not this morning. Everybody said yes. He should intervene. So those are the results of our poll this morning. Of course, all of this emanates from a story that came to life after Scotiabank reduced credit cards basically across the country. But Scotia credit cards, Scotia issued credit cards, the $1,000 to $2,000 US per month or per billing cycle. except for I think Aero Black, which is 5,000. So the government and finance minister Colm Imbert are being urged to step in to regulate how banks distribute foreign exchange, with at least one economist suggesting legislation to limit the amount of US dollars banks can utilize for investments in foreign markets as a short-term measure and business. Calling for solid action to alleviate the woes they are facing. The calls come after Scotiabank's announcement that it plans to reduce its maximum US dollar credit card spending limit effective from the 1st of December. In a notice to customers on Wednesday, the locally listed majority Canadian-owned commercial bank indicated that the US dollar spending limit on the Aero MasterCard Black would be cut to US $5,000 a month, while all other personal cards would see a reduction to US $2,000 per month. Scotiabank has also informed customers of plans to increase credit card fees and interest rates. The decision has drawn criticism from the public, with many taking to social media to voice their disgust with the move. Commenting on the decision yesterday, economist Dr. Valmiki Arjun pointed out that banks are accumulating US dollars in surplus, but noted that this money is not being circulated among the public. He theorized that most of these funds are being acquired to build foreign exchange reserves for proprietary portfolios and international investments. That is resulting in them having an excess of US assets over US liabilities. So this practice is naturally tying up US dollar funds that could otherwise have been allocated to the general public and the business sector, Dr. Arjun said. He noted that between 2020 and 2022, banks held a combined surplus of US $726 million that he claimed was not distributed publicly. The annual surpluses for those years were US $248 million, respectively, he said, quoting from central bank data. For the last 10 years, banks would have had a surplus of about US $1.25 billion, meaning that they acquired US $1.25 billion more than what was sold to the public during that time. I could go back even further. Over the last 16 years, the surplus was approximately $1.75 billion, he said. He acknowledged that in 2023, authorized dealers sold more than they purchased, resulting in a deficit of US $272 million. Nonetheless, he believes government should intervene to regulate the banking sector's use of foreign exchange. So that contextualizes a little bit better in terms of Valmiki Arjun's perspective on it. I don't know if we could probably have a quick word with him, Steve, see if he'll speak with us concerning it, because of course it's one of the issues trending, on not only on social media, but on the main media this morning, that whole issue of foreign exchange. So it's something that we could probably, if Mr. Arjun is available this morning, we could probably have a quick word with him on it. Because they are quoting him extensively. So, Steve, are you hearing me?
I'm WhatsApping him now.
Oh, okay. I wasn't sure.
Yeah, sorry.
Yeah. But while Steve does that, I should remind you that theater will be on the next week, Saturday and Sunday, as theater comes to an end for 2024. Yes, I know. It's coming to an end. And so we won't be back until January, the end of January. Our final show will be for 2024 will be next weekend, Saturday the 9th of November at 8:30 p.m. and Sunday the 10th at 6:30 p.m. And we're doing the indisputable #1 hit of 2024, Love is a Walk, which has had fantastic reviews. I mean, people have seen, this play has been received so well, it has been seen multiple times by people. Some people tell me they've seen it 3 and 4 times. Love is a Walk. If you have never seen a play in your life, Love is a Walk is an absolutely fantastic first play to see, trust me. We're on at Cipriani College, which is, the one theater that's kind of center of everybody, those in Western Trinidad, those in Central Trinidad, and those in Eastern Trinidad. You can, we'll be on from Saturday at 8:30, Sunday at 6:30 next weekend. Of course, tickets are 250 and 300, 250 general, 300 reserve. And they go on sale from tomorrow at our usual outlets. And the outlets are Electronics Ariba, Jabili Rawi in Tunapuna, and Tony's Florals in Valpark Shopping Plaza, Sharpley Auto Services in Sharpley, and K Squared Fashions branches in West Mall, East Gates, and in Brentwood Mall in Chagonas. So we are ending the year with the #1 play for the year and the #1 comedy for the year. Love is a Walk. And we're looking forward to doing it. And the cast was so glad that we chose that because everybody enjoys doing that play when we're on stage. And this play, it's laughter from beginning to end. Trust me. So Love is a Walk is on next week, Saturday and Sunday, the final 2 performances for theater for the 2024 season. And of course, we will resume theater in 2025 after next week, at the end of January 2025, I think. I know Carnival is a little late next year. I think it's in early March. So we resume theater at the end of January in 2025. That's when we will start for the 2025 season.
Yeah. All right, we have some calls coming to Richie Rich. So let's grab them. Good morning.
Hey, good morning, gentlemen.
Morning.
Good morning, Lincoln.
Funny talking about this incident reference for Forex, because I had an experience last week where I needed to buy some. I went to FCB Bank with a ticket for 2 weeks to go to the United States, and I wanted to buy $1,000 in US. The cashier informed me we could only give you $240. I was like, okay, fine. So I could give me the $240. So I could, when I got the $240, I said I could come back tomorrow for another $240 until I require $1,000. And he said, no, sir, this is all that you're going to be afforded on this ticket. So and that is where I felt trapped in this country. Because it suggests that you're telling me now that if I am to go to the United States, my financial institution that I bank with is telling me that all we can give you to survive for 2 weeks is $240.
Not only that, Lincoln, I know some people that travel within the month of October and using their credit cards, even for a purchase of $5, the card was declined.
And it gives me the feeling of Nazi Germany, where you're under pressure in your country, but guess what? You can't leave. You can't leave. So I have to go to Scotiabank now. Scotiabank give me $200, and they tell me come every day, and we'll give you, our limit is $200 for the day. So it's inconvenience, but at least I was getting something. But it lets me know now that when you're traveling, you have to start acquiring US from 2 weeks before you travel. You have to buy a ticket long in advance to prove that you're traveling, and go to the bank every day. It is. And however, I have a friend. I was meeting a friend from Grenada, in the United States. And when I told him about the issue, you want to bring the US here? I'm like, what do you mean? He said, US is not a problem. In Guyana, I could go to the bank and get 2,000 US in the morning if I want. But
that's in Grenada.
Brag. In Grenada, sorry, yes. But we boast and we brag. We're leading the Caribbean and we're the best country in the Caribbean. But Grenada could get US. Antigua could get US. Anybody, any island in the Caribbean could get US like that. Just walk in the market and the amount of US.
Yeah, I tell you, my sister-in-law needed some US because she was going to travel. And she just passed a bank, not her branch, not her bank, and went in and walked in and asked for 600 US, and she got it.
Exactly. And
is only Trinidad have a problem?
That's what I'm now going to say, Steve. This is not a no problem. This is a problem that has been existing for a long time, and they don't seem to want to fix it. What the situation, the excuses they're giving us, it's not fixable and it hasn't been fixable for a very long time. We need to do better. We need to demand better. We can't be true because we cannot remain trapped in this country that you can't leave for 2 weeks and only get $240.
Or use your credit card for $5 and get declined.
Yes. And then
they must have been at the end of their cycle for that to happen.
I have no idea. There's more than one person.
No, I'm not the only person who had this experience, Richard.
I'm not talking about that experience. I'm talking about the experience of your credit card declining for $5.
Okay.
That has to be that they were at the end of their cycle or something like that.
On top of that, now too, you're purchasing something with your credit card. There's items you could have gotten in the United States much cheaper than in Trinidad. The government decides, here what's going on. That's too good for you. Here what we do. We will tax your credit card now. So even if you buy it away cheaper, we have to make a little something. It just seems like you're trying to restrict the citizenry of Trinidad and Tobago.
Well, this is what Richard has been saying for years. It seems that the government seems to make things harder for the citizens.
Harder. Anything
All right,
we get
thanks, Lincoln.
convenience, let me charge you. Let me just pressure you. It just comes across that way. Have a good morning, gentlemen.
Yeah, all the best. Good morning, caller.
Hey, morning.
Morning.
That's Stephen.
Morning, Mr. Patrick.
Good morning. Paul Wendell is injured. This thing with Forex, I traveled for the past 24 years. Right? The other time is just get US just with the bank. No card, here no itinerary to call it. Here no ticket. You go in the bank, you want some US, they give US. You remember those days? And then now, they jump down, they say, well, you could get 500. We have to reach the bank at a certain time. Then when you go now, they tell you how to get 100. Then they jump down. If you get 200 once, and you go back to the bank and you see your bank book, they say already get US, so you can't get no more again. And I go down for a while now. So I decide when I travel now, I buy US outside. And when you go up there, you use your card. It's cheaper to use your card when you travel outside. You understand? But I don't know what went on with the people with the $5. I don't know about that.
Yeah.
But I want to ask a question. If some religious schools decided they want to use different religious garments in the school on certain days, is something wrong with that?
I don't know how to answer for that.
Because reading the article the way the Presbyterian school talk about certain way, and I know there's some Muslim schools and some Catholic schools.
No, well, the school isn't saying they made the decision, Mr. Patrick. They're saying that they got a memo. They said that they got a memo from a school supervisor, that they could, that the children could wear, but they need to come in their normal school clothes and then change into the school and change into the wear at school. That's what the memo said.
But I make no sense.
Not that the school had a problem with the wear.
Yeah, but I make no sense.
Well, according to the no, yeah.
Yeah, but I was asking as some people about that. They say it has some schools based on the board. You can't go into people's schools where you want. That's what the school said. That's what I said. Everybody run the school to suit them everybody.
Yeah, but it's not the school making the decision. That's the issue I'm trying to bring to you.
That's the point you're trying to make there, Mr. Patrick.
It's not the school making the decision. They're saying it's a memo from a school
Ministry of Education say them never make that decision either.
Which is why it's being investigated.
Okay, so that one with it.
Yeah.
That's Mr. Patrick. 222-8255. North Americans, 866-525-1099. Remember, North Americans, daylight saving time is it ends. And Sunday morning at 2 a.m. So your clocks go back 1 hour, and that's this weekend. All right.
I know there was a proposal by certain senators to make daylight savings time permanent.
Yeah, there was that talk, but
yeah, that was something before the U.S. Congress at one time. I think it still is there, kind of circulating to make it permanent rather than having these changes throughout the year. Because I think Europe is doing away with it. In the European Union is doing away with daylight savings time. If they use it at all, still, I think they were doing away with it in a certain time, like in a year or two.
Yeah. All right. So we are taking some of your calls.
So 222 talk 222-8255. North Americans 866-525-1099. Of course, we are taking your calls this morning, this Friday morning. So put a smile on your face as we head towards the weekend. Well, we're not heading towards the weekend anymore. We are in the weekend.
Pretty much.
Coming from the holiday yesterday. So we're
great holiday.
Calls. Yeah. So 222 talk 222-8255. North Americans 866-525-1099.
Yeah, all my lines were lit up a second ago. You all could return. You could call back right now.
But coming back to Mr. Patrick's decision,
I'm not getting on to Valmiki, by the way.
Oh, you should try calling him. But getting back to what Mr. Patrick suggested, that was suggesting that some schools may not want to allow it for whatever religious reasons. I find in a cosmopolitan country like Trinidad and Tobago, if it is that you're celebrating certain festivals, it's part of the cosmopolitan nature of the country that schools should allow it. Now, should they make it mandatory? No, absolutely not. But if you wish, you should be allowed and have exceptions for certain festivals and stuff like that. I absolutely have no issue with that.
Yeah, I saw some students on Wednesday afternoon, and they look very nice. You know, because they have a couple of schools from Butler.
Many workplaces do it. That you're allowed to wear different types of wear depending on the festival. So whether it's African Emancipation Day, whether it's Indian Arrival Day, whether it's Divali, people come, they have different types of wear for different occasions. That plenty workplaces allow an alteration of the dress code.
Yeah, we do.
And it should be, as a cosmopolitan country, I think it's healthy.
Yeah. Let's grab his call. Good morning.
Yeah, good morning to the breakfast crew.
Morning, Tinto.
Good morning, and morning Trinidad and Tobago as well. Yeah, I wonder if I'm alone. Yeah, good morning. Yeah, I wonder if I am alone, excuse me, in my observation. There seems to be a silent entity that is working effectively behind the scene to ensure that major interruption and disruption in major government sectors and private sectors throughout the country. I don't understand for the life of me. Breakdown in nearly every department and no accountability or responsibility. That's my contribution, gentlemen. Have a great day.
All right. Thank you, Tinto, out in Canada. Appreciate the call.
I don't think all government departments are breaking down, or all public sector, private sector things are breaking down. You have challenges in some, where you will have issues, but there is a drive. I know there is a drive, having been in the belly of the beast. There is a drive to make things more and more digitally accessible. And you can see the change in certain areas. You can see some of the changes in licensing. You can see the changes, certainly, in the Registrar General's office, where you can order birth paper online, no matter which part of the world you're in. You can order a Trinidad and Tobago birth certificate online, and other facilities like that as we move to an online space. Should we be moving faster? In my opinion, we should have been there years ago. Because I know we had Estonia helping us, and now I'm not even sure what's the progression of that, because the Ministry of Digital Transformation doesn't talk much. We always say we have to get Mr. Bacchus on, but we haven't been able to. I don't know if you haven't asked Steve or he's been inaccessible. I don't know. But we certainly need to get an update with regard to that. But there's some agencies that do work and have gotten more efficient than they used to be. That's what I would say. So not everywhere it's bad news with regard to access to services, private sector or public sector in Trinidad and Tobago. That's my opinion.
All right. Yep. So our lines are open 222-8255. So there's a WhatsApp as well.
But that issue of the foreign exchange, and Lincoln brought up a point in passing, because Trinidad and Tobago, I think, and economists listening can correct me if I'm wrong, I believe has the largest economy in the English-speaking Caribbean by the nature of the size of the economy, not only with oil and gas, but also by virtue of our manufacturing sector. You see goods from Trinidad and Tobago all up the Caribbean island chain, from Jamaica straight down back to Trinidad and Tobago. Our goods are, in groceries and supermarkets across the Caribbean, because the Trinidad and Tobago manufacturing sector is pretty robust. And so you wonder, why is it? Because in other countries, people also shop online and travel too. Why is it that we experience these problems? What is the fundamental issue why we experience these foreign exchange issues from time to time? And this time has been a pretty long time with regard to it, because you can't expect citizens of Trinidad and Tobago come on banking sector, be part of the solution, and rather than just being the mouthpiece for we have a problem and so we're reducing. Try and be part of the solution too, because you can't expect citizens to function with 2,000 US in a billing cycle if people are going to pay for hotel rooms or whatever else that they have to do in a foreign country. Your hotel, depending on how long you go for, that probably is consuming your hotel bill alone.
Yeah, 100 and something, average 125, 150 a night.
I mean, how is that tenable? It is not. So obviously we have to find a solution. And I'm not in favor of government, necessarily legislating as suggested, or as allegedly suggested by certain economists in the country. I'm not a big fan of government legislating for everything, but certainly the Banking Association of Trinidad and Tobago can sit with the government of Trinidad and Tobago and say, look, how do we make things easier and better for the citizens of the country with regard to access to foreign exchange?
Yeah.
And
Good morning.
If it is a major macroeconomic issue, then fix it. Because why are other islands that are smaller with smaller economies not having the issue? And a lot of it I know is tourism. So then fix it.
Yeah. Go ahead, Zeno.
Because, gentlemen, one set of conglomerates in this country want to eat the pie. We have too many conglomerates here that licorice, I had to say, for the US dollar. So the average man in the street can't get it. Trinidad boasts to be the richest country in the Caribbean. And that is our status, that you want to give a man in the street 200 US and think you could travel with that. Where those different big conglomerates getting the money, their money to send for goods to come here to kill us with? Where? Certain people are the ones getting it, and how come? If this is a shortage in the banks, where is that? I try to wonder, those Gambios or what they call it in the airport, charging that kind of money in exchange for 1 US. Where is that money going? Because many people coming in, they get to these places first before they even come out to get to any bank. So when they get the money, where is all that US going? Is it going back into the banks? Is it circulating in the country? Or is one set of people hugging the foreign exchange in this country? That is all it is about. The rich to get richer and the poor get poorer. They're just greedy. Thank you.
Cambios operate on the basis of profit.
Yeah.
So obviously they're about profit. So obviously they're dealing with foreign exchange as a commodity, and so that if it is, you can get it for $7. Well, not even $7. If you're buying it from the bank, it's probably $6.70 or something like that.
Almost 6.8.
Almost 6.8 that you're going to be paying for the bank for $1. They're charging 8 or 9. But of course their intention is to make a profit. That's the nature of their business. That's their business, making profits in terms of foreign exchange transactions.
Yeah. So, we have another call. Let's grab it. Good morning, caller. Oh, not there. All right. I'm sure. No, here it is. Good morning.
Hello. Morning again. I was listening to Zina talk about appliances, parts, and things, right? You cannot get it. But you know that a lot of motor car in Trinidad and Tobago and vehicles, you can't get no parts for that in Trinidad. And them foreign dealers bring them in. You know that? And sometimes you ask yourself, why they was allowed to bring in these things and no parts of them things? So people can pack up in garage for months, 6 months, 8 months. They're trying to source parts. You understand? Look, another thing. I went in the bamboo some time back. Headlights. They're from Taiwan. And these lights just fade after a while. The Japanese parts, they're bringing them in. So who in charge of bringing in things in this country? Who does go through for this of bringing things in this country? The government have a lot of vehicles back up. They can get past it. They have buses they bring to Trinidad. They can get past them buses. So who is allowing these things to pass through and come in? You understand?
Yeah.
I know a man have a vehicle, a 4x4. He could get the windscreen, he could get the back windscreen. He couldn't get this. Our friend have a Swift. Now my friend, my son's wife have a Swift. And she can get past of the car. You understand? You can't get no room for a car. But they're allowed to come to the country.
That's another thing that people do. People also often buy their parts online too.
Yeah, I do that.
Which comes back to the same foreign exchange problem, because people do buy their parts.
It's so much cheaper buying it online too.
Yeah, our partner have a Colorado, and when he wanted a part for that, he went and he checked here, he checked there. You want to tell him that Colorado not from the United States, that's from a different country. That's all going on. I think you gotta get
sometimes your local VIN will not work on a United States site. But if you contact the company directly, they can search up your VIN and work out what the part is.
Yeah, I've done that.
Yeah, but
out of Miami, I had to. They couldn't find my VIN.
Yeah, but at the end of the day, you're selling vehicles that when your car gets in an accident or something wrong with the engine, you can't get it back.
Yeah. Thanks, Mr. Patrick.
All right.
Yeah. All righty. Good morning.
Morning, gentlemen. Mr. Pitchen City raised a valid point there. You remember the government of Trinidad and Tobago, for the police service, brought in a fleet of vehicles. And from the time I saw it, I said, that is a disaster. I think it was Skuda or something like that. They brought in a fleet of police vehicles. And in 1 year, it had none on the road again, because they brought the vehicles and never considered parts and maintenance for the vehicles. You couldn't get any part for the vehicle in Trinidad and Tobago. So all of them in 1 year were off the streets. The regiment did that for a fleet of Land Cruisers as well too. And they allowed citizenry they allowed citizenry to get hoodwinked by bringing in it was a red hatchback looking vehicle that in 1 year all of them was off the streets. They unleashed a set of junk to Trinidad that didn't last a year, because after a year you couldn't, when the thing started to call for parts, you couldn't get parts for it. So I blame the Consumer Affairs Division, whoever is responsible for protecting the citizens of Trinidad and Tobago, that unleashing these vehicles, especially in Trinidad and Tobago, that we cannot get parts. So I know somebody talk about refrigerators and appliances, but it extends to vehicles too. You understand? It was a scooter and it was a funny vehicle. The back seat was a hard thing the police always had. And it was just ridiculous. Every time I saw it, I knew that was a disaster by the they were buying. Right?
But Lincoln, as I said earlier, I was part of a committee that sat reviewing legislation, consumer legislation years ago. I'm talking over 10 years ago, plus, let's say over 15 years ago. And part of that legislation was the issue that exactly what you're talking about there. That if you're selling stuff, you have to be able to service it as part of the legislative requirement in terms of parts, stocking parts, and all of that. And this was this is years and years ago. I sat in that committee and giving all sorts of suggestions in terms of honing in that legislation. It went nowhere. Nowhere.
This is why when I hear people, the government and politicians talking about we're going to form a committee to do. You see what went on with the inquiry of the 5 men that did? The commissioner of the committee had to come and say we have no paper, we have no printer, we have no chairs, we have no desk, we have no forming committee. I don't have high hopes when I hear government or any institution talk about forming committee, you know. I'm very skeptical about these things when I hear about forming committee and committee being formed. Nothing comes out of these things.
Mm-hmm.
You know, so I you know, we between a rock and a hard place. According to when the level PNM is the problem and UNC is not the solution. We doomed in this country. Have a good day.
Good morning.
Good morning, gentlemen.
Morning.
Good morning.
How is everyone?
Good.
We're great.
Right, to the management and staff of Power 102, season's greeting.
Thank you very much. Same to you.
Right. Well, at least I'm a bit happy that in my community had no fireworks and no disaster, because that was a hurdle and a problem, because when you have fireworks, it is like tornadoes and all those things in your community. But thanks and praise that we didn't have that. And at least, gentlemen, I always complaining because always being a target of stolen things. 2 weeks ago, I had a big dog and it disappeared from my place. So, you know, if it's not dog, it's goat, it's everything. Why just people cannot find something better to do instead of interfering with what they have? Oh, maybe that's the mental system that anything they see somebody have, they just like to take it and they feel happy about it. I wonder if you all know who you are speaking to.
I'm not sure, actually. I know the voice, but I can't remember.
Miss Valencia.
Right,
Yeah.
Miss Valencia. It's like I know the voice, but I wasn't sure.
Yeah,
So.
the voice
We haven't heard from you in a while. How are you?
Okay. I talked to Sir Charles, what day it was, a few days ago, last week. I spoke to him. At least that is my station, Power 102, because everybody says, Miss Valencia, how come I ain't on 102? I say, well, I just change the trend. If I'm not with Sir Charles, I go on the other side. You say, well, you know, one thing I commend you. But I always like to say that, you know, when something is wrong, we must stand up and do the right thing, because as I say, I don't like to see things going wrong, whether in my community or elsewhere. And I always like to say that if we stand up and we do the right thing, as I have a logo for my former leader, may his soul rest in peace, it is forward ever, backward never. So if we keep on doing the right thing, we will always have a good inspiration in life that whatever we need, we always keep going forward, and that is how we are. So, gentlemen, to each and every one of you, I want to wish you all the best and have a safe weekend until surcharge. Good morning. I will check him out later.
All right.
So all the best to you and yours. Okay?
All right, thanks, Mr.
All
Nice
right.
weekend.
Thank you.
Okay. Bye.
All right, Ms. Valencia, thank you so much. 222-8255, toll free, North Americans, 866-525-1099. Good morning to Rapid Fire, Norman, Antonio. Good morning to you all. Yeah. All right, we are still taking some of your calls. I just tried calling Valmiki Arjun and didn't. I got no reply. So hopefully I get him later. Of course, when he sees it, he'll message me again. All right. I don't know if Richard is frozen or not.
No, I heard you.
Oh, there you are. Okay. All right. It is the first day of November. 54 days to Christmas. 54 days to Christmas. Love it. Love it. Yeah. And we're still taking your calls.
Yeah, we're still taking your calls on this Friday morning. Of course, just reminding you that theater closes next weekend, Saturday and Sunday at Cipriani College. Saturday at 8:30, Sunday at 6:30. That's the 9th and 10th of November. Theater comes to a close, I know, for 2024. And we're ending it with the #1 play and comedy of 2024, Love is a Walk. So Love is a Walk is on next weekend, Saturday at 8:30, Sunday at 6:30. Tickets go on sale from tomorrow at all the usual outlets, K-Squared Fashions, Eastgates, West Mall, and Brentwood Mall in Chagonas. Jabili Rawin to the Puna and Tony's Florals in Valpark Shopping Plaza. Sharpley Auto Services in Sharpley and Electronics in Arima. That's where you can get your tickets. They go on sale from tomorrow. You should not miss Love is a Walk. As I said earlier, if this is the first time you're coming to a live play, you should not miss Love is a Walk. It is a great first play to see if you've never been to the theater. You will be a convert from the time you exit. You will never miss another play. It is absolutely hilarious from start to finish. It's the funniest thing you'd see on stage this year. I make no apologies for saying that, and I stand by that. And of course, the testimony to that is all of the reviews we've had on social media concerning Love is a Walk, including people who've seen it multiple times. People came 3 and 4 times to see that play.
So it's not this weekend, it's next weekend.
The 9th and 10th, yes. The 9th and 10th of November.
Mm-hmm. As I say that, 4 days to the U.S. election, 4 days.
Mm-hmm. So we're still taking your calls as we head towards 8 a.m. on this Friday morning. We're trying to get into contact with Valmiki Arjun. Maybe he's on air. Maybe he's on air somewhere else. But we try to contact him concerning some of the statements attributed to him in the newspapers this morning concerning that whole foreign exchange situation. But of course, we're still taking your calls. 222-TALK, 222-8255, North Americans, 866-525-1099. Absolutely toll-free, North Americans.
Yeah. And in some good news, let me just throw in some good news here. Calypso Rose brought laughter and smile to the Tobago Regional Health Authority dialysis unit at the Scarborough Health Center Wednesday when she donated money to help with the operations of the unit. All right, Calypso Rose, what a wonderful lady. Good morning, caller. That's some good news for you this morning.
Good morning to you. And
morning, Captain Ron. How's your back?
I'm okay. I'm back at work now.
You're back out to work.
I'm the one who texted you from Boston. I didn't know my name did show up.
From where?
Boston.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. When you didn't say the name, that was me.
Oh, yeah, because you didn't go WhatsApp. You went on the YouTube, Facebook chat, so that's why.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Okay, great. Listen, first of all, I want to say good morning to everyone and stuff like that, and things like that. I just want to say about the money, the U.S. dollar. I think the public has the power in their hands. They need to, find another way of getting money somewhere. Do they have credit unions in Trinidad? Do they exchange money over there?
We have a lot of credit unions in Trinidad.
Man, that's the thing. The public has power, and that's the problem in the Caribbean. We tend to realize we don't have the power. We don't, in America here, what they do, if it's too expensive, we don't buy until they bring it down.
Yeah.
That's how it goes. The public has power too, because the businesses, the banks need your money. That's how they make money and how they do business. They take your money and invest in other places. So the people have to know their rights, and maybe you all should invite someone on the program one of these days to explain how banking really works and how much more they need us than you need them.
Yeah, maybe I should ask one of the CEOs of one of the banks to be on the program.
All right. Also, next thing before I go, is there anybody you can bring on the show sometime to explain what is the situation in Trinidad if they're monitoring this BRIC system? The BRIC system included a new dollar now, and it's going to be much stronger than the U.S. And they're forecasting the U.S. to fall. A lot of people are frightened over here, worried or concerned, I should say. All right, I feel like Trinidad, all they do is still pending and the U.S. dollar and the U.S. dollar. That is going down. Because honestly, right now, I have started taking money and I just opened an account over there in Ethiopia. Because Ethiopia is part of the BRIC system. So once they start, I don't know how they do the money thing program in this spreading around the country, the world, all of your dollars will be changed into BRIC dollars, BRIC system dollars. So a lot of people here are now taking their money out and putting it to other places around the world that's involved. And seem like Trinidad, they're not even worrying about that. And I've never heard, actually, this is the only station I've heard anything that somebody's calling and talking about BRICS. The other stations, nobody does it. Nobody thinks about it. Anyway, gentlemen, y'all have a great week. Nice hearing you all. And I hope Wendell gets on the flight this morning.
Yeah, he did.
Oh, you got on?
You got on.
It's funny, I flew over Jamaica yesterday, because I came up from Colombia.
Okay.
So, anyway, you guys have a good one. Stay safe.
All the best, Captain Ron.
Yeah, thanks a lot. You too.
Good man. Take care. Good morning. Good morning.
Good morning.
Morning.
I want to congratulate Dr. Wayne Fredericks for the contribution he made to education in donating a sum of money. I want to thank him very much. It's nice to see people who were educated in their country and could go abroad and come back and make a valuable contribution. So Dr. Wayne Fredericks, thank you very much for your contribution. And Miss Valencia, welcome back. Oh boy, we haven't heard you in a long time.
A long time.
Yeah, glad to know that she's still around and she could still call and make a contribution. So welcome back, Miss Valencia. Have a blessed weekend, you all.
Thank you. You too. Have a safe one as well.
Okay, bye.
All right. You have time just to take a couple of calls again. It is 5 minutes before the hour of 8 o'clock. Of course, Sir Charles will step in at 9 o'clock to take you through your mid-mornings right here on Power 102 Digital. All right. Morning, morning, and Rampasad. Good morning to you. Have a great day as well. Yeah. Okay, Richard is frozen. Oh, no, he's not. Oh, Valmiki just... All right, go ahead, Rich.
Oh, he just replied to you.
Just replied to me.
Yeah, so 222-TALK, 222-8255, North Americans, 866-525-1099. Yeah, we can take a couple of calls before we hit the 8 a.m. hour.
Mm-hmm.
222-TALK, 222-8255, North Americans, 866-525-1099. Are you trying to still have a conversation with him, or you?
Yeah, I'm going to call him now.
Okay.
Yeah. Hang on 1 second.
All right, so we're trying to hold to speak to Valmiki Arjun, economist, to get a sense of that Forex situation, even though we're doing it kind of like 4 minutes before we hit 8 a.m. and news.
Yeah, he says he had a 5 to spare, so we'll grab him in that.
So we'll just have a quick convo with Valmiki considering what he would have said, or is quoted as saying in the newspapers this morning, considering the foreign exchange situation.
Good morning, Dr. Arjun.
Hi, good morning.
Morning. Welcome to the Power Breakfast Show. It's just Richard Ragoobarsingh and myself this morning.
Good morning, Valmiki. Thanks for joining us this morning on the Power Breakfast Show. We just wanted to have a brief conversation concerning the issue of the foreign exchange situation in Trinidad. And of course, one of the dailies this morning is quoted you as suggesting intervention, even from a legislative perspective, by the government in dealing with the banking sector and the money that they have, the US that they would have with regard to short-term and international investments, foreign investments that they retain and don't make accessible. Could you contextualize that for us a little bit?
Sure. So first of all, I just wanted to make it very clear, right, that the biggest culprit here is the fact that our Forex usage continues to be very, very high, and our Forex earnings are not as encouraging as they would have been several years ago because of the downturn in our energy production and exports, right? That we can't lose sight of the fact that that really is where the problem lies. But there are other areas that we can consider, at least in the short term, to help us to better cope with the very high demand for foreign exchange. So when I looked at the data yesterday at the central bank, right, what I found was quite interesting is that going back several years, most of the time, the amount of foreign exchange that the authorized dealers, like the banks, would purchase from the public and the central bank. Remember, they purchase from the multinationals, etc., and they also purchase from the central bank's allocation every single month. So most of the time that they purchase from the public and the central bank, that amount tends to outweigh how much they sell to the public. So there tends to be a surplus of foreign exchange that is actually held by banks. Now, in 2023, that was not the case. 2023, that was one of the few occasions where they actually sold more than what they actually purchased. So there was a deficit of about just over 270 million in 2023. But in 2022, 2021, and 2020, there were surpluses. So in fact, in 2022, there was a surplus of about 248 million. 2021, there was a surplus of over 390 million. 2020, there was a surplus of 86 million. So when I go back, looking at the data in the last 10 years, what they would have done is held a surplus of 1.25 billion US, meaning that they bought 1.25 billion more than what was actually sold to the public in that time. And I could go back even further in the last 16 years, going back to 2008. The surplus in that time, that overall 16-year period, was about 1.57 billion. So the question arises, we have, especially the private sector, a very high demand for foreign exchange in the country, right? We are very import intensive. A lot of the items that we use for resale in the retail market, raw materials, equipment, machinery, whatever technology we utilize on a day-to-day basis, much of it is imported. We cannot help that. We don't have the capacity or diversified structure to produce these inputs locally and have adequate import substitution, right? At least not at this stage anyway. So it begs the question, these surplus funds the banks would acquire, where are they going if not in the hands of the private sector and the citizens? So what is happening is building up foreign exchange that is being used to invest in that's being used for their proprietary portfolios and investing in the foreign financial markets, like short-term treasuries, for example, in the United States, resulting in them having an excess of U.S. financial assets over U.S. deposit liabilities. So when you're doing this type of practice, it ties up important foreign exchange, important U.S. dollar funds, and those said funds could have actually been allotted to the general public and the business sectors, the private sectors. Now, to me, this raises an important policy question and from a regulatory standpoint. Should there be regulation implemented to limit the extent to which banks can hold these foreign currency assets in excess of the foreign currency deposit liabilities? Now, I'm not saying that this needs to be a permanent measure. In fact, I think this should be very temporary. As I indicated in the beginning of our conversation, these are more short-term measures, band-aid measures, if you want to call it that, at least until our foreign exchange earnings from exports return to a high level. Now, I just want to make it clear. This is not an example of exchange controls, all right? Exchange controls is a very different thing. I see some people in the past have been talking about going back to exchange controls. That is not at all what I'm advocating for here. Others may have spoken about less desirable things like a restrictive list, for example, where you can restrict the importation of items like agricultural products, which we do happen to produce locally here. Restrict importation of some of them so that you free up more foreign exchange to be used for the more important items like pharmaceuticals and medical equipment, etc. Again, in my view, this is not as bad as an exchange control, but to me is less desirable and is to be seen as a temporary and a band-aid measure.
Valmiki, if I may interrupt, two questions. Is it that you see that this has to be legislative rather than a conversation, let's say, between the Bankers Association and the government with regard to that short-term regulatory process?
I think first of all, I think it will start off as if they do take the conversation, the recommendation seriously. I think it will start off as a conversation, yes. Whether or not there's the political will to do it is another question altogether, because it could require. I mean, the banks, they themselves could take it upon themselves to say, look, okay, if we are investing $500 million each year US dollars on financial assets abroad, at least for the next 2 years until we get some gas coming out of Manatee, the next 3 years, until we get gas coming out of Manatee, we can revisit the situation. Then perhaps we can say, all right, look, instead of 500 million being invested, let's invest only 250 million. So that frees up an additional 250 million to provide to the public and the business community. You don't need legislation for that. They could change or adjust their investment strategy to benefit the public. So it doesn't have to go to a legislative step at the end of the day. Of course, the central bank really, not the Ministry of Finance per se, it was more the central bank. They are the ones the central bank is the one that is in charge of supervising and regulating the activities of the commercial banks. So I think if anyone has to actually step in and clamp down, they're the ones to do so. But as I said, it doesn't have to get to that stage. I think if they were to take the conversation seriously, the commercial banks can adjust their investment strategy on their own.
You know what? I know we don't have much time left, Valmiki, but the issue, I know Trinidad is one of the largest economies in the English-speaking Caribbean, if not the largest, and certainly our manufacturing sector is probably the most robust manufacturing sector in the English-speaking Caribbean, and certainly exports all of the islands. What accounts for the disparity in Trinidadians and Tobagonians having these problems with foreign exchange access vis-a-vis the other islands which don't seem to have the serious problems we do? Or is it that some of the islands have the problems with foreign exchange like we do? But you got a sense that they do.
We have to remember that we are we are highly industrialized compared to these other islands. These other islands more within the service sector, like tourism, for example. So, and of course, tourism tends to bring in is a very direct way of earning foreign exchange. But given the fact that we are highly industrialized, that means that goes hand in hand with being very highly import intensive. So we talk about the manufacturers, for example, all of the equipment, the spare parts, etc., for the equipment, the factory equipment and whatnot, are imported on a regular basis. As a matter of fact, the raw materials, many of them utilize, including manufacturers like food processors. A lot of the food items, raw materials that they need, the inputs that they need, which are food items for food processing, are imported as well. You look at things like not just those inputs, but things like the down to the packaging are imported also. So because we are so highly industrialized, the extent to which we utilize foreign exchange is going to be much bigger than the other CARICOM or Caribbean countries.
Oh, okay. That kind of puts it in perspective, because it was something that I brought up earlier in the show, that, you know, because we are so robust, you would think that we would have less of a problem, but we seem to have more of a problem than the other islands. And that kind of puts it in perspective. I didn't think of that whole industrialization part of it and how much that pulls at the foreign exchange in terms of meeting parts and inputs and stuff like that. But anyway, I mean, this is where we're going to have to leave it. And I'm sure we could have a more in-depth conversation next week considering it. But our time is upon us. So thank you so much.
Thank you so much for being with us.
Thank you for having me. And thanks for reaching out.
Yeah. All the best. Have a great weekend.
Okay. You too. Thanks. Take care. Bye.
All right. So this is where we wrap up the Power Breakfast Show this morning. We are a little bit beyond time, but because we were speaking to Valmiki Arjun concerning the whole Forex foreign exchange situation. So have a fantastic weekend, people, whatever you do. And remember, of course, the theater is on next week, Saturday and Sunday. We come to a close with Love is a Walk at Cipriani College, Saturday at 8:30, Sunday at 6:30. That's on the 9th and 10th of November. It's the final 2 performances in theater for 2024. You should not miss Love is a Walk. I am telling you, it is laughter from beginning to end, literally. Tickets go on sale from tomorrow, so you can start getting your tickets for the close of theater for 2024. Have a fantastic weekend, whatever you do. And remember to smile and laugh. It's great for your health. And God knows we need to smile and laugh. Have a great one.
All right. Thank you so much, Richie Rich. Of course, you'll join us again come Monday. Yeah. All right. Just want to let you know that somebody won the Lotto. All right. So it's back down to 2 million. I'm trying to find out where. I'll find out shortly. But we need to get into our 8 o'clock news brief just after that a little bit. So we call it the 8:09 news brief with AV.
This is your news bulletin from Power 102 Digital.
It is time for your news update. I'm Afril Cynthia Bab. Good morning.